Why be easy when you can just die? Woo! Well, I'm Chewy Mew, and welcome to my channel, but more specifically, welcome to another Chewy Mew video, where today we're going to be taking a look at the ToyBiz Spider-Man Classics Scuba Diving Spider-Man. I feel like we've already done this, and that's because, yes, we have a review of the Hasbro Spider-Man Classic Scuba Diving Spider-Man, which is actually, I think it's just called Scuba Spider-Man, which is this guy who's in the process of being customized. And so, yeah, right off the bat, you can see the differences here. The paint on the Hasbro one is a lot more bland. One of the biggest differences, at least for me, was the head sculpt on the Hasbro version actually wasn't painted. It was unpainted, and the entire plastic was actually this kind of red color you see inside there. And I painted it using a technique, which I made a video about it. I've had to paint head sculpts on figures, and that resulted in the plastic getting darker. But again, this kind of just shows you sort of the laziness of Hasbro, how they just take a ToyBiz one and paint it with a lot less fun colors. For example, here you can see both of the blades on the fins here are actually both painted in. But ToyBiz actually painted in the black parts of his raised webbing. I don't know why the fingers have raised webbing, but the mask has the sort of sculpted in webbing. You see Hasbro didn't even bother painting those. The Hasbro version, or the one that I have, this one, I own both of them, I have both of them, has like a little, you can see stuff super glued onto it and pieces for the custom that I'm making, so don't mind those parts. But yeah, the spider logo, again, on this one, on the Hasbro version, it looked a little more kind of rounded on the edges, I feel like. This one looks a little bit more sharp on the corners. The head sculpt is the same. And, oh, I didn't even notice that. On the ToyBiz version, you actually have, they actually painted in, like, Spider-Man face logos on the sides. Whereas this one, I cut the plastic off so they can move up higher. But it did have the same circle. It was just blue. You can tell, obviously, the color scheme is a lot different here. The ToyBiz one is silver boots, which actually do have some wash. These are actually darker. They just painted all this pretty much one flat color. And Hasbro even used the same blue for these fin parts, where this one is black. The bottom of the feet, the ToyBiz version here says ToyBiz Worldwide 2003 Marvel Entertainment. The other foot says Made in China. And Hasbro decided to squeeze all of it onto one foot. 2008 Marvel, 2008 CPU, 2008 Hasbro China, and then C228A, and this one says 00981. Just red and blues. Basically just one shade of red, and like light red, and then dark, it's one shade of red, and then dark blue and light blue, whereas this one has like silver, dark grays, black, red, you know, a bunch of different kind of colors here in the costume, which I think the ToyBiz one looks cooler. And in the review, I did say the ToyBiz one had like wash to it. It doesn't really have wash, but like the right here, like in his midsection of his body, kind of, it's this much darker red plastic. Looks kind of like washed a little bit. The spider logo on the back on this one is actually blue, whereas this one is red or black. I don't know, I kind of like the ToyBiz one more. It has like, this one has a more matte look to it. It's not very glossy, whereas this one's very glossy. But I feel like, I feel like this one kind of works because it's a scuba costume. I mean, scuba costumes are generally not glossy, but I don't know, to me it just kind of works a little bit. I think that's kind of cool. You can see the height difference. This guy does look a little bit taller here, which is kind of weird. And one thing I want to try, because this head, you just, you know, pop it off like that. It comes off. I want to try if I can just take this head off too. Oh, I did. Oh, man. Oh, it comes off like this. So it is like double ball joints, where one ball joint pegs into his neck, the other one goes inside of his head. And you can see the way the ball joint came off on this one is the pin, or the ball joint is, it came out of his neck, whereas this one, so that means you could do this here. Oh, look at that. Spider-Man and Spiderception. That's what that means. But yeah, so let's toss this guy over here. And yeah, so the ToyBiz one, I basically went over everything there is about it with the Hasbro version. The ToyBiz version one did come with more accessories. Hasbro one just comes with like, looks like a water backpack and then like a helmet. But the ToyBiz one I think came with flippers too, like on his feet, which that's really cool. You may notice the paint on this guy is pretty worn out. You can see, I'm assuming the shoulders and the head were the same red, vibrant red as this, but now they're kind of like bleached by the sun. You can see these joints here are much darker red compared to the rest of his glove. So, yeah, you can see that red's a lot darker compared to this one. More vibrant red, I would say. There's like a little bit of paint chipping here and there, probably from just playware. So now I can have the other version that's customized, and then I'm probably just going to leave him as is and just leave him the way that he looks like this, which I think it looks pretty cool. But yeah, so this is, I think this head sculpt now looks nicer with the way that I painted it. This one's a lot more faded. But I'm probably not gonna. I might go and paint the head sculpt or something. I might just paint it so that it looks, so that it pops out a little bit more. Is like more, not faded looking colors. You know what I mean? All right. So I guess this is kind of customizing live. I have a Sharpie paint marker here that I'm just gonna paint the red parts in on the figure and see how it looks. Look a little bit better. So I painted on some of the stuff and it does looks pretty good. The other figure of this guy that I reviewed, but let's go over articulation anyway. So the head looks up. It doesn't really look up. It looks down a bit and kind of tilts side to side. It's kind of like a bobblehead a little bit, probably from just, you know, the neck here being broken. See, the neck kind of does open. It's kind of broken there a bit. The arms rotate all the way around. They go up less than 90 degrees. If you really force them, you can't get them to go 90 degrees if you force them. Single bend in the elbow, a hinge here in the wrist. Rotation in the waist. The legs kick up pretty high actually. They go back. You can do the splits. You can actually go slightly past the splits on both legs. Single bend in the knee and then an ankle joint. So yeah, as far as that goes, you know, like I said with the other figure, not much articulation on this guy. This guy doesn't really have much posability. I should keep him here in the back. I should just keep him in the background perpetually. But yeah, not all of articulation on this guy. Like, what is that? Like, I think 10 points, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 14 points of articulation on this guy. Not much, especially because Fearsome Foes over here is, I think, like 32, or like, I think 41 or something. Or, you know, just for a kid to just... It's kind of like a bathtub toy, you know? I think that's what ToyBiz meant for this. It's Scuba Spiderman, you know? Put him in the scuba diver costume and play with him in the bathtub. As, like a 4-year-old or something. You know? Yeah, so that's over this video. I will see you guys in the next review. Wow.